So my name is Claudine Lewis. I'm a Southeast Community College respiratory therapy student. I'm here to go over some oxygen delivery systems with y'all. So first off, we have our E-cylinder oxygen tank. It is green for oxygen. It also says oxygen right there on the yellow hazmat label. And here I have my regulator, which I will attach to it. There's some safety concerns with oxygen. One of them is that it definitely feeds fire, so it is combustible. It itself is not flammable, but if there's a spark or anything like that nearby, it can definitely add to the fire. So one thing you don't want to do is grab it by the neck. That could loosen up the nipple inside of the tank and release all the pressure. It does have a pressure relief valve right here to release any pressure if it does get overheated, to kind of prevent massive explosions. It should always be kept upright, securely in the tank, and that's cross-threaded, so that's not going to work. So you just kind of want to tighten that in there. This is a metal tank, so it cannot go into the MRI machine. So this is not a seal tank. This is our oxygen key, and we'll use this to, as they call it, crack the tank, preferably away from your face, just that way. And we will turn that on. And it's a little loud, I forgot to mention that. And here we have our regulator. This is a low flow, it only goes up to 8. Inside of here, you'll see the O-ring, and here's the pin system to prevent this from being hooked up to any other gas. So only these pins will match up to the small tank right here. On this tank, there are some numbers to indicate its serial number, to indicate the last time it was inspected. I know it's an E-tank because that little dot right there is taken out. This is about the right size for that. So I will attach my regulator by lining up all the pins. And some of the regulators do have a built-in O-ring. This one does not. That can fall off. It's always fine. So right now I'm reading 0. Another thing you want to think about with oxygen is not to use around any kind of oil products, including Vaseline. It can spontaneously combust, which is really bad. Some patients have been known to put Vaseline in their noses because it does dry out your nasal passages when you're on a cannula. So we're reading about 1400 still. So I don't know if you can see the dial very well. So it's showing right around 1400. Here's the dial to regulate my flow. This one goes all the way to 1/4 of a liter. So there's 4 liters. If I include it, nothing changes. So let's say I was going to transport a patient with this and I needed to know how long it was going to take, or how long the oxygen will last. So I have 1400 psi, and the cylinder factor for this one is 0.28. So that gives me 392. Let's say I've got them on 4 liters a minute. So that would give me 98 minutes or 1.6 hours. If you followed most of the recommendations and changed out between 300 and 500, you definitely want to have a second tank with you. So there's that. So to follow this up, we will turn it off. Bleed out the regulator. That's what that, until it goes back to the 0. And remove the regulator. Leaks are probably the biggest problem with these. I assume it could be defective in some way, like if the spring inside is messed up and it may not be reading properly. I also know of an instance where a guy was new at the filling facility and filled it with the wrong gas, took off the top, washed it out, put in oxygen and sent it on its way, and I know a medic who got burned that way when he used the oxygen tank. So here we have a flow meter. This is green, it matches the oxygen. Below that we have air. There's no way for me to make this fit in here. None. Because that's one of the safety systems so that we don't mix things up. So, and then down here's the suction. So, we're gonna sticker in there. Perfect. The float kind of jumped up a little bit. We're going to turn this on. Got it up to 10. This one only goes up to 15. And if I occlude it, I can get it to drop down. This is a compensated. You won't find uncompensated in the United States. And I broke it. No, I didn't. This one also has a dial down here so that I can change where it's coming out, the ports that it's coming out of. So I push in here and turn that until it goes there. Or if that one is there, that's for a portable vent, and it has to be threaded on for high flow O2. So this would probably not be the most appropriate since it only goes up to 15. If there was any kind of a leak or anything in the system and it needed to be shut down, there are shut-offs out in the hallway to shut off this unit. Here in this facility, they're generally shut off by maintenance or the police department, the internal security, if there were any leaks. I would also want to have oxygen cylinders close by for the patients that would need it after that was shut down. Let's see what else. This hospital here does not use the liquid. It uses large H tanks in series to provide the main oxygen for the facility. The biggest risk with the oxygen is pretty much any kind of spark, any kind of flame, because people do have COPD and continue to smoke with their oxygen tanks. It's risky, but they do it, and sometimes they can get away with it. I've also heard of static electricity, like a nasal cannula, like this kind of tubing, being dragged across a shag carpet, causing a spark and burning the patient. So that's pretty much the biggest risk with oxygen. And I think that's it for this one.